Every year, the world produces more medicine, more technology, more treatments. Yet the number of people who live past 90 is still surprisingly small. According to global statistics, fewer than 2 out of every 100 people will reach their 90th birthday, and even fewer will do so with their health and independence intact. But here's the part that gets overlooked. Many of those who do live long, vibrant lives, who keep their minds sharp, their steps steady, and their spirits youthful, aren't relying on miracle pills or expensive treatments. They're simply eating something every day, something ordinary, something you can find in your local store, one small fruit, a handful of seeds, a spoonful of something green. And that's what today's story is all about. Let me introduce you to Mr. Kenji, a 91-year-old man from Okinawa, Japan. Every morning, without fail, he wakes up at 5:30 a.m., stretches gently on his porch, and prepares a simple bowl of miso soup with a splash of seaweed, a handful of tofu, and a small serving of boiled sweet potatoes. Nothing fancy, no protein powders, no superfood smoothies, just real food. Yet Kenji hasn't seen a hospital bed in over 3 decades. He walks without a cane. He plays with his grandchildren. His mind is clearer than many people half his age. Is it luck? Some might say so. But science says otherwise. Today, I want to share with you 5 powerful superfoods that have been backed by decades of research and live by people like Kenji across the globe. These aren't exotic or expensive items. They're simple, accessible, and when consumed daily, they can transform how your body ages. You'll learn which tiny berry may help slow down memory loss and reduce inflammation, what seed is often ignored but may quietly protect your heart and joints, which legume is fueling the world's oldest communities, and how it can protect your blood vessels, a fruit that tastes sweet but may guard you against strokes, and a leafy green that doctors are calling the brain's bodyguard. But here's the real question. Could it be that you're skipping the very foods your body is crying out for just because they seem too ordinary? You see, aging isn't about what's missing in your medicine cabinet. It's about what's missing on your plate. And I know this not just from studies or books, but from decades of working with older adults, again and again. I've watched people change the course of their health simply by changing what they eat. Before we dive into the 5 superfoods, I want to invite you to slow down with me for a moment. Ask yourself, what did you eat this morning? Did it give you energy? Did it nourish your body or just fill your stomach? Because everything we'll explore today is about reclaiming your energy, your clarity, and your longevity, one bite at a time. And if you're still here with me, that tells me something important. It tells me you're not giving up on your health. You're not accepting that aging has to mean decline. You're looking for answers. You're looking for hope. And I believe you deserve it. So before we begin, here's what I ask of you. If you find this video helpful, even just one part of it, please consider sharing it with someone you care about. A neighbor, a sibling, your partner, or a friend who may also be hoping to live not just longer, but better. Now, let's begin with the first superfood. It's small, it's sweet, and it holds the secret to keeping your brain young for years to come. Superfood 1. Blueberries, tiny berries. Mighty brain. Her name is Margaret. She's 87 years old, lives alone in a small town in Vermont, and every single morning for the last 15 years, she started her day the same way, with a bowl of warm oats, a drizzle of honey, and a generous handful of blueberries on top. When I met Margaret during a routine wellness check, I asked how she kept her memory so sharp. She looked at me, smiled, and said, "Doctor, I just feed my brain what it wants." It turns out she's absolutely right. Blueberries may be small, but their impact on the aging brain is anything but. These deep purple berries are bursting with something called anthocyanins, natural compounds that give them their rich color and powerful health benefits. Anthocyanins are a type of antioxidant, And what they do inside your body is nothing short of miraculous. They travel through your bloodstream, cross the blood-brain barrier, and help reduce the inflammation and oxidative stress that slowly damages brain cells over time. It's like giving your mind a warm blanket of protection, one spoonful at a time. In a landmark study published by Harvard University, over 16,000 participants were followed for more than 2 decades. Those who ate more blueberries and strawberries consistently showed slower cognitive decline, in some cases, delaying aging in the brain by up to 2.5 years. Think about that. Not with a pill, not with surgery, but with berries you can buy at any store. Margaret didn't know the science. She just knew how she felt. She told me, "On days I skip my blueberries, I feel a little foggy, like I'm not quite myself. But when I eat them, it's like the lights come on." And it's not just the brain. Blueberries also help your heart. They lower blood pressure, improve circulation, and because they're low in sugar and high in fiber, they're perfect for anyone managing diabetes or trying to maintain healthy weight. Now, I've had patients tell me, "Doctor, I can't always get fresh blueberries where I live." That's okay. Frozen blueberries work just as well, sometimes even better, because they're picked and frozen at peak ripeness. You can add them to your morning oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or just eat them by the handful. Even a small daily serving, about half a cup, is enough to start seeing benefits over time. And the taste, it's a sweet, gentle reminder that taking care of your health doesn't have to be a punishment. It can be a joy. I remember one man, a retired librarian in his 70s, who began adding blueberries to his meals after watching a health documentary. 3 months later, he told me his morning walks felt lighter. He was remembering old phone numbers again. And for the first time in years, he picked up his guitar and played. That's the quiet power of this little fruit. So if you're over 60 and you've been feeling more forgetful lately, if words sometimes slip from your mind, if your energy dips after lunch, you might want to look not at your medicine cabinet, but at your breakfast bowl. Because sometimes, what your brain needs most is something simple, sweet, and blue. Now let me ask you, have you ever heard of a seed that can help protect your joints, smooth your digestion, and keep your heart beating strong without any pills or prescriptions? Because up next, we're going to explore a forgotten superfood that older adults around the world are quietly rediscovering. It's tiny, it's ancient, and when used correctly, it can turn back the clock on aging from the inside out. Let's talk about chia seeds. Superfood 2, chia seeds, the tiny grain that keeps you strong. If you walked into Mr. Delgado's kitchen at 6 in the morning, you'd see a tall glass sitting by the window, filled with water and tiny black seeds floating inside like miniature pearls. He's 93 years old, and that's his first drink of the day. He calls it my secret water. I call it genius. Mr. Delgado, a retired teacher from Arizona, was once plagued by joint pain and fatigue. Every movement felt like a burden. Climbing stairs became a decision, not a reflex. Then one day, while visiting his niece in Mexico, he was introduced to a traditional drink made with chia seeds. He didn't expect much, but within weeks, something shifted. He was sleeping better. His knees stopped creaking. His digestion improved. And, most importantly, he felt like himself again. It wasn't magic. It was nutrition. Chia seeds may look unassuming, but they're a powerhouse of essential nutrients. Each tiny seed is packed with omega-3 fatty acids, fiber, protein, magnesium, and antioxidants, all in one of the most concentrated forms found in nature. For older adults, this matters more than you think. Omega-3s help reduce inflammation, particularly in joints and arteries. This means less pain, better blood flow, and a healthier heart. The high fiber content, almost 10 grams per ounce, keeps your digestion moving smoothly and helps regulate blood sugar levels, which is especially important if you're managing diabetes. And here's something even more fascinating. Chia seeds are hydrophilic, meaning they absorb water up to 12 times their weight. When you soak them, They turn into a gel-like substance that slows digestion and prolongs hydration. For seniors, this simple effect can help stabilize energy throughout the day and prevent dangerous dehydration. I once had a patient, a 68-year-old woman recovering from surgery, who struggled with constipation, fatigue, and anxiety. I recommended she start with just 1 teaspoon of chia seeds in her morning water. By her next visit, she was not only sleeping better, but had started walking around the block again, something she hadn't done in over a year. Here's how to use them. Start small. 1 to 2 teaspoons in a glass of water or juice. Let them sit for 10 to 15 minutes until they form that soft gel. Then drink. You can also stir them into oatmeal, yogurt, or even sprinkle them over salad. But here's a gentle warning: don't eat them dry in large amounts. Because they expand, they can cause choking if not properly hydrated. Always soak or combine with liquid-rich foods. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Seeds? Really, doctor? Yes, really. Because over and over, research shows that small things done daily are far more powerful than big changes done once in a while. Chia seeds may not look like much, but inside your body, they're working like quiet repairmen. They reduce stress, rebuild tissue, stabilize hormones, and nourish your organs. And just like Mr. Delgado, you might find yourself waking up with less pain, more movement, and more calm. So next time you reach for your morning coffee or tea, ask yourself, could a glass of chia water be the better way to begin your day? Now, if you're curious about what the world's longest living people eat for strength, endurance, and healthy aging, wait until you hear about this next superfood. It's not a seed, it's not a fruit, it's a humble bean used in kitchens for centuries, and it may hold the secret to outliving your neighbors by a decade. Let's talk about lentils. Every Friday evening, a woman named Lucia prepares a simple dish in her cozy kitchen in Sardinia, Italy. She boils lentils in garlic broth, adds a drizzle of olive oil, and serves it with a slice of dark bread. She's 88 years old. Her hands are weathered, her smile is bright, and her heart is strong. She told me once, "Doctor, I've never skipped my lentils, not even once a week. They've kept me company longer than any man." And science would agree with her. Superfood 3, lentils. Lentils are one of the oldest cultivated crops on Earth, and perhaps the most underrated. These tiny legumes are loaded with plant-based protein, fiber, iron, folate, and essential minerals that support cardiovascular health and cellular repair. For seniors, lentils are a miracle disguised as soup. They help stabilize blood sugar, they improve digestion, and perhaps most importantly, they support healthy red blood cell production thanks to their rich iron and folate content. That means more oxygen reaching your brain and muscles, less fatigue, and better endurance. In a long-term study in the blue zones, regions where people routinely live past 90, lentils were found to be a staple food across all of them. From Sardinia to Loma Linda, California, those who ate lentils regularly had lower rates of heart disease, obesity, and stroke. One of my patients, a 72-year-old man with chronic hypertension, started eating lentil soup 3 times a week. Within 6 months, his blood pressure normalized, but more than that, he reported feeling awake again, like something had been recharged inside him. The best part? Lentils are inexpensive, easy to store, and simple to cook. Now let me introduce another food. It's sweet, ruby red, and as beautiful as it is healing. Superfood 4, pomegranate. For centuries, pomegranates have been revered in ancient medicine. Today, modern science confirms what traditional wisdom always knew. This fruit is powerful. The deep red juice of a pomegranate is rich in punica ligand, a compound known to reduce arterial plaque, lower blood pressure, and improve cholesterol profiles. It's like a natural cleanser for your circulatory system. Why does this matter? Because as we age, our arteries become less flexible, our blood flow slows, and the heart has to work harder. But pomegranates, when consumed regularly, help restore elasticity in the blood vessels, making it easier for the heart to pump. It's also been linked to better memory and reduced joint pain, thanks to its anti-inflammatory effects. I once had a sweet couple in their 80s who began drinking a small glass of pomegranate juice every evening with dinner. After a few weeks, they told me they were sleeping better, moving easier, and even their skin looked healthier. Just remember, choose unsweetened, pure pomegranate juice, or eat the fresh seeds when in season. A small serving, a few times a week, is more than enough to enjoy its protective benefits. Now, before we wrap up, let me introduce one last superfood. This one is green, crisp, and probably hiding in your grocery store right now. Superfood. 5. Kale. Yes, kale, the king of leafy greens. I know, some people turn their noses up at kale. It can be tough, bitter, chewy, but cooked right or massaged into a salad, it becomes a soft, earthy, deeply nourishing gift to your aging body. Kale is packed with vitamin K, lutein, calcium, and powerful antioxidants. It strengthens bones. It supports brain health. It helps prevent macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in seniors. And it even plays a role in lowering inflammation throughout the body. For one of my longtime patients, Susan, kale became a turning point. At 76, she was told her bone density was dropping. Rather than jump straight to medication, she added kale to her diet 3 times a week, sautéed with garlic, blended into smoothies, and stirred into soups. A year later, her follow-up scans showed no further bone loss. Her joints felt looser, and she told me, "I don't love kale, but I love what it's doing to me." That's the truth of aging wisely. You don't have to love every bite, but if you eat with purpose, your body will remember. So, now you've heard the 5 superfoods: blueberries, chia seeds, lentils, pomegranate, and kale. They're not miracles. They're not fads. They're time-tested, scientifically backed, and life-affirming. And the question becomes, what will you choose to put on your plate tomorrow? Because what you eat today writes the story of your tomorrow. Coming up next, I want to show you what happens when people commit to these small food choices daily, how their lives shift, how their energy returns, how their days stretch longer, not just in number, but in quality, and most importantly, how you can do the same, starting now. Let's wrap this up together. The quiet power of daily choices. Your longevity is on your plate. There's a moment I'll never forget. It was a late afternoon in spring, and I had just finished my visit with Mr. Thompson, a 95-year-old retired railroad worker who still tended his garden every day. As I was leaving, he paused by the gate, looked at me, and said, "Doc, I don't live this long because I beat death. I live this long because I nourish life every single day." And there it was, the quiet truth we often miss. You see, longevity isn't something you win like a prize at the end of a race. It's something you earn, meal by meal, thought by thought, day by day. And in so many cases, it starts with what you eat. Let's take a breath together and remember what we've discovered today. We started with blueberries, nature's little brain boosters, protecting your memory one handful at a time. Then we met the humble chia seed, hydrating, nourishing, and supporting your joints, heart, and gut in every sip. We talked about lentils, the everyday legume that keeps blood pressure down and energy up. We added the jewel-toned pomegranate, a fruit that smooths the path for your blood to flow with ease. And finally, we honored kale, a tough green with a tender mission to protect your bones, your eyes, your very sense of independence. These are not exotic cures, they're not expensive fixes, they are everyday foods, and they carry the quiet power to change everything. If you're in your 60s, 70s, even your 80s, this message is for you. You haven't missed your chance. Your body is still listening. Every cell in you is ready to respond when you nourish it with what it truly needs. It's never too late to start, and it's never too soon to believe in your own vitality again. I've seen men and women go from shuffling to striding, from forgetting appointments to remembering birthdays, from fatigue to fullness of life. And every time, they said the same thing. I didn't know something so simple could be so powerful. Now, I'm passing that truth on to you. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up and reach for breakfast, pause, choose something from this list. One fruit, one seed, one green. Start there. Because while no one can guarantee you'll live to 90 or beyond, what we can say, with science and with heart, is that your chances rise dramatically when your food becomes your medicine. And if you found this message meaningful, I ask you, please share it with your spouse, your sibling, a neighbor, a dear friend. Anyone who wants to live not just longer, but stronger. Because longevity is not a secret, it's a shared path. And you never know whose life you might change just by opening this conversation. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, keep choosing life, one bite at a time.